Hi, everyone. My name is Sonia Holtz. I'm your CFWC Communications Chairman, and welcome. Today is all about membership. It's starting your first day as club membership or district membership or state membership. Our speaker today is Wendy Curran, the CFWC second VP, and we are happy to have you. Okay, Wendy, this is CFWC Membership 101. Welcome, and we're so glad to have you here today.
Well, and thank you, Sonia, and everyone for giving me the opportunity to meet with all of you. So I'm going to say aloha. And this is Membership Begins With Me. It's so simple to say, and it's a cute metaphor, and maybe even some hidden thoughts. Let's really look at what this implies. At the heart of all that we do as members, without me in member or membership, it is an empty promise. Please ask yourself, is this the me I put in membership, the best me I can be? Am I fulfilling the promise to not only myself, but to all the members of the club and beyond? Let's take, for example, you are the new member to the club. Remember what that experience was like? Who took the time to come over and engage you in conversation, or asked your name, or introduced you to other members of the club? Or do you remember feeling left out, alone, or like a fish out of water? And what about when the meeting got underway? Did someone help fill in the blanks as the other members talked about a project, an upcoming activity that you really knew nothing about? Who was there for you when they asked for volunteers to help with the upcoming bazaar or the city event, even another club's event, or the biggie, the club's annual fundraising event? Oh yeah, everyone was buzzing about that. And who was going to do what, and what time to be there, and what to wear? Did the me in you feel included? So now that we have the basis for Membership Begins With Me, how can we all help our members? Remember what your mom always said? Just be the best you can be. Do the best you can. Oh, and my favorite, I know you can do anything if you just try. Okay, why don't we apply that to how we make the me in membership work for all of us? It is possible to reinvent our me's. Here's how. First, remember what it felt like when you joined the club, that first time and that first activity you took part in, whether it was big or small. And if that was not your favorite time as a new club member, make a promise to yourself to help that new member feel like they are part of the group. Second, each time you're at a club meeting, make sure to engage those new members. Are you inviting them to the book club meeting or sharing a new read you've just finished? What about other sections of your club? The cooking group, the garden group. What about those members that read to elementary school students? How about the sewing or knitting or crocheting groups? I bet some of you play Mahjong or Mexican train dominoes or bridge or card games. Oh, don't forget bingo and bunco. That may be a part of your club as well. I'll bet we haven't really scratched the surface of the many things your members do, and what other clubs and maybe even the district does every month. Third, it's time to deal with the acronyms, crazy descriptions, and how to understand all there is to know in your club. Each of you here today can be the help to wade through the alphabet jungle. And one good way to help all new members, and perhaps those that need a refresher, is to plan and present an orientation meeting. How about calling it New Member Get Together? Help deciphering the acronyms, or the favorite, Club Projects and Beyond. Think of a great title and present the information to those who are new, and not only to the club, but to our federation as well. This is an excellent way to put the we in welcome. That's right, put the we in welcome. You all know how to do this. The question is, when can you start? Right away. Plan that orientation right now, before you even have your first meeting or even the September meeting. You can make it as simple as you want, just reviewing what the basics are that new members need to know. Or you can have an agenda that addresses multiple levels of our federation. I hope you are asking, what are the basics that our new members might need to know about? Might I suggest a few? Number one, basic club information. Start with meetings, day, time, months, costs. Explain briefly what goes on in the meeting. How to make a meal reservation. If you have special drawings, speakers, entertainment, and what about help with setup or cleanup for the meetings? You know, meeting hostesses. Number two, talk about club officers and club committees, their positions, duties, and the project help. And provide each new member a current copy of your club handbook or yearbook. Walk them through the yearbook. Point out where the bylaws and standing rules are so they can have reference to simple questions. Number three, overview of the club's projects. Share what projects are called. Give a brief description. Explain why the club supports that project. How to volunteer to help with a project. Simple projects or activity, you might call them done in a day projects. And talk about projects that are ongoing. What is needed and when. I'm sure that as you put your orientation agenda together, you will want to include specific information on handouts so they can digest what you've presented. Be prepared to help as the club year goes along. Oh, say here's an idea. I'm full of them. What if you planned a two-part orientation? Start with the club info to begin with, have lunch together, and then share district, CFWC, and GFWC basics, including information about the district, CFWC, and GFWC will take some time, and I suggest that you just hit the basics. Number one, district. New members need to know basic information, the district name, meetings during the year, district projects that the club supports, and district conventions. Here's a suggestion. With respect to discussions about representative delegates, you may need to share that at a different time or provide a handout that deals with delegates and voting, etc. Number two, CFWC. Explain the acronym. The California Federation of Women's Clubs. try to use the full name at first when you're speaking. Make a fun exercise with it and include it. Something so they will remember what it means and what is the relationship to the club. Number 3, GFWC. Second verse, same as the first, just pertinent info to get the member used to what it means when they hear it at meetings or when they read about it. Explain to new members how to access information. Encourage members to sign up for our free CFWC Quick Bites that comes out every Monday, and the free GFWC News and Notes that comes out weekly every Thursday. Again, this would be an excellent handout. Okay, and you also might want to remind all of your members to sign up for these weekly information articles. Help your members become part of our federation. When we put the we in welcome, members feel included and part of something powerful because of your projects to help your community, our state and nation, and even help others around the world. Here's another innovative idea. What if each new member was partnered with a seasoned member? Think of all that could develop for that new member. A new friend to talk with at club, someone to help answer questions, and maybe even offer a different perspective. Each new member deserves a mentor who is able to share information and guide the member to help the club. When each of us brings in a new member, we are the start of welcoming another partner in what we accomplish. It is that simple. And guess what? When your club members help not only in your community or the larger community, our world is better for it. So can you all work on putting the we in welcoming? That is how we move forward. And I will bet that your members will respond to the challenge. You know, there isn't anything more fun than planning a meeting that is all about members. One final thought, please remember to include some of your club history in the orientation. Be proud of your club, share successes, and that valuable information from your history. If we don't share it, how will the new member know all that your club has done to make change happen or create new beginnings? Okay, me's, membership orientations await, and it is we that will welcome members. There isn't anything our clubs cannot do without our members. We've been doing that here in CFWC. Oh, I mean, the California Federation of Women's Clubs since 1900. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Wendy. So I'm going to take the spotlight off, and then we're going to put it to gallery. And what we'd like to do, Wendy, did you have your team in the house? You'd like to introduce your team, please?
I see BJ is here.
Tony.
And I see Miss Tony. I feel like I should have that magic mirror, you know, that the lady from Romper Room used to have. And
so do you mind going over what their positions are and what they kind of do,
certainly.
and then what their names are, and then I'll see if I can go find them.
Rosette is
righty.
here too.
Rosette, and
Yes.
then the only one I haven't seen yet is Lynn.
Correct.
Hopefully the computer virus is not spreading around our community. Ladies, the area vice presidents are probably very happy because they get to represent the districts in the 4 different areas. Up in Area A, Miss Tony Lima, who is a whiz at all things. Tony has 6 clubs, and all in Northern California. And I'm going to let Tony share the names of all those districts. In Area B, Rosette Clippinger has 4 clubs, and it's quite a long, skinny area, I think, isn't it, Rosette? And then, of course, in Area C, BJ Addis also has 4 clubs and takes up a good number in the Los Angeles and Orange County areas. And very southern Area D also has 4 districts, and that takes us all the way from Los Angeles and Orange County all the way to the international border, the beach on one side, and the state lines with Arizona and Nevada on the other side. And
Okay, so how about if we start with Tony, and how much time are you giving them? 3 to 5 minutes?
That works. Couple of minutes, 2-3 minutes.
Hey, Tony Lima, if you'll unmute, I will spotlight you. I can't hear you. I'm so sorry.
You need to unmute, Tony.
There you go.
Yeah. I got a new mouse and it goes to sleep like a computer, and then you're trying to find the cursor and it's not there until you click it. But it is rechargeable, so that's nice. Oh, well, hi, my name's Tony Lima. I am the Area A Vice President. I do have, like what Wendy says, I am helping 6 districts, and they consist of Alameda, Loma Prieta, Mount Diablo District, Redwood District, Shasta, and Sutter. And we have just slightly over 2,000 members at this time. And I believe we've got 63 clubs. So, what else? We're getting ready for our Area A conference. We're the first one out of the gate. It's going to be on October 1st, and it's being hosted by Sutter District. Thank you very much for Sutter District for doing that for us. And it will be at the Polish American Community Hall in Roseville. And the thing about this building, it is an old building, but it used to be owned by the Roseville Women's Club, which I thought was really nice, which is why we got such a good deal on the rental. And we're pleased to have all 3 of our top officers visiting during the area conference. And we're looking forward to having them there.
So, and let's just share one thing that you have done as a membership chairman that you would suggest.
As a membership chairman, the best thing is to just be available, be helpful. Don't try to fix everything. If you don't know the answer, ask. There are people that will come. There are people that will help. Membership is a big job, and you're not alone in it. We all have teams, and just reach out.
Thank you, Tony. I'm going to go ahead and remove the spotlight and move on to BJ Addis. I just had her a second ago. Just one moment, please. BJ. Every time I unspotlight someone, the whole thing shifts behind me. Here she is. Look at her wave at me like I'm going to be able to find her that way. Here we go, sweetheart. Hi, BJ. Welcome. Why don't you go over? Yeah, why don't you go over the districts that you have and the one membership chair that you can share with us?
Don't set me on the spot at all. I am the Area C Vice President. So everything that sort of falls between LA and Orange County sort of is my terrain, my territory. Thank goodness for Wendy. Whatever comes up, she and BBB are always on my chain of command. My conference is coming up October 15th. It's going to be at the Airtel Hotel here in Van Nuys, which not everybody in the state knows about, but it's local in the San Fernando Valley. It's hats off to membership. So everybody gets to wear their favorite hat, whatever that might be. And we may have a contest to that. Happily, in addition, I have the same 3 top people in the state board attending this conference, as well as they have to attend all the others. If they had anything planned for the weekends in October, give it up, okay? I also am trying to get for us the ICAC LA main detective, which is Internet Child Abuse Council. And it's sort of going to be one of those, hopefully that goes into things that I didn't know about the dark web and unfortunately how children get really caught up in that. Mm-hmm. The one thing, as far as if I'm answering the question right, Sonia, that I would be interested in, and that is my heart and soul, is in the orientation process for a new member. And I'm happy to say that in the district that I belong to, that is kind of like their golden rule. Everybody gets an orientation, everybody gets a mentor. Nobody should be walking in blind and then going, what happened? You know, what is this all about? So I hope that is something we can continue on and hammer home and make that just part of our ongoing everyday kind of life. And all the members of all the clubs are part of the membership team, whether they like it or not.
Thank you so much, BJ. So I'm going to replace the spotlight with Rosette Clippinger. Welcome. Introduce yourself, what area you are, what your districts are, and then the one membership suggestion that you have to share.
Hello, good afternoon. I was in a blackout, so we didn't have any internet nor computer. Just 2 seconds ago, it came back and I was switching computers. So glad I could be here. I am on the Area B Vice President, and I have 4 districts. I have the Tierra Dorado, San Gabriel Valley District, Yosemite District, and also the TAD, okay, I missed one. Yosemite, Tierra Dorado, and San Joaquin Valley. My Area B conference is going to be on October the 8th, and they're going to do it at Pico Park. And I'm so excited about it because not only we have our state president that's going to be present, and she will be speaking, as well as our first state vice president. We'll talk about, I believe, on the reports, and my membership chair, Wendy, is going to be there. We have a little program about advocates for children, and that's regarding, that's the state president's project. And what I am going to do this time is introduce the Legos, the Lego, how it is used with autism children that helps to develop the mind with development and helping the kids use the Legos. So it's going to be nice, and some environment projects. So it's on October the 8th. We're going to have Italian food, and it's going to be, I'm so much looking forward to it.
So Rosette, would you mind sharing just one thing that you've seen as a membership person that you would share with everyone that works really well?
As a membership chair, it's Number one, it's so good to present our state as a membership, as my first VP to represent my district. Be there for our members, and whenever they need any kind of education or anything, we're learning at the same time, but I will be, I'm happy to educate and let them know more about the California Federations of the Women's Club and the GFWC, and help them grow their membership, and not only to grow their membership, to when they join and they know what they're joining, and educating them what they're joining for, we want them to maintain and stay and love the Federation, become part of our Federation sisters.
Thank you so much. I'm going to remove your spotlight so that you can, and I'm going to put, so Wendy, I appreciate that, Rosette. Did you want to go over what Lynn was going to speak about, or did you feel comfortable that we can move it to the body as a whole and ask for sharing?
You know what? Lynn has sent me an email saying she's waiting for the host to start the meeting.
I'm sorry, she must be in the wrong room. I apologize about that. I can send her, why don't you go ahead and ask the initial question so that people can share. And then we can identify people in the room that are membership chairmen across the state or membership VPs. And then I will contact Lynn for you and give her the correct information.
All righty. Well, let's see. You know, membership is such a large category, and I think it's always useful at the beginning of your club year to start at the beginning. Every year, remember, we get new members. We need to help them jump into what it is that we do in our clubs. And every club is different. So maybe if somebody has a question, and I think the best way to do a question, Sonia, maybe is that they raise their hand.
Right, absolutely. And I apologize for that. I'm trying to get her those codes really fast. So this is what we do, ladies. If you have a question for Wendy or the team that is here, you're welcome to raise your hand, and everyone knows. If you don't know, that we'll go over it. Down at the bottom of your page under reactions, there is a button that says raise and lower hand. If you would raise your hand to ask a question and wait to be requested to speak, we'd be very grateful for that. And then after the question and answer time, we'll do share and open sharing. So our first question is from Terry Cook. Terry, you're on an iPhone. You go ahead and unmute, please.
I don't think she has a question, Sonia.
Oh, she's going to lower her hand then. Okay, very good.
All right.
So let's go ahead with the next question. Does anyone have any questions about membership across this workshop today?
Whoa, that means everybody's ready to do their orientations and welcome their new members. Oh, look, Susan has a question.
All right, Susan.
I just wanted to say one of the hardest parts of membership is finding those women who want to join. What are people doing to bring in those people?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Wendy, that's an excellent question for your team too. If you want to bring your team into this question, or you could draw it from the floor, whatever you prefer.
You know, that is the age-old question. How do we find new members? And sometimes, and this sounds really simple, I can't tell you the number of times I've been at $1.25 trees store or the grocery store after coming from a club or district event. I've got my t-shirt on and somebody goes, "Women's club? I didn't know we had a women's club," while we're in the checkout line. So this is just what I do. I have cards, my contact cards on me all the time. And I'm always happy to take one and ask them if they'd like more information. And I give them a brief spiel. You know, one of the things the area vice presidents and I are going to be sharing soon is how to do an elevator speech. And that's not just for when you're in the elevator. That's that 30-second connection you have with somebody that says, what's Women's Club all about? So here's a great challenge for each club and maybe each membership chairman. What if you took a few minutes at a meeting and everybody just write down some quick responses to what does your club do? And then gather those up, look to see, I'm sure there will be repetitive. They'll be the same thing. We support the Salvation Army, or we give out scholarships, those kinds of things. But maybe look for something that is different, something that's new, something that's topical. And, you know, if you've been doing it for several years, give yourself a pat on the back, but create some kind of a message. And you could even, I know my own home club is doing something similar to this. At Vistaprint, for 20 some odd dollars, you can print a club card with contact information, a phone number to call, or an email address, or your website, your webpage. And maybe on the back, you pay a little extra if you want to print something on the back. Put a statement. Our club is looking for women or members, because we're not just for women. But let's ask people to join with us. And you know, that country fair everybody has, or the summer fling, make sure you have plenty of those cards to hand out at your booth, and maybe attach it to something, you know, that is useful, like a package of Kleenex. You could make little stickers and put it on a package of Kleenex. And wouldn't it be fun? I'd love to hear about this. What if clubs that did that send me an email and say, we did that and got 4 new members? I'd love to hear that stuff. I know your area vice presidents would love to hear that. So so Susan, the answer is not easy, but it can be easy. And sometimes I will tell you, I've been walking through the airport, dead tired coming home, and somebody said, where were you? I said, oh, well, I was at a women's club, a women's club. And on our way out of the airport, talk to them and let them know that there's a women's club in their local area.
Okay,
You know?
so our next question, thank you, Susan, for that great question. Kathy Hollins. Kathy, you have a question?
Not a question, but I just wanted to say that we have a member in our club here in Sonora who has gone around the neighborhood where our clubhouse is, knocking on doors. And since the first of the year, she's brought in 7 new members just by knocking on doors and telling people about our club. And then we had a Hot August Nights dance at our clubhouse and invited everybody in the community with a $5 donation. We got 2 new members at that event. And that's just what she does. She's just been knocking on doors.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Low
Kathy.
tech, but it works.
Thank you, Kathy, for sharing that. What a wonderful, easy idea. Very easy and very cost effective too.
Oh, and one other thing, when my mom was in the hospital in Stockton having her heart valve replacement, the nurse was talking about wanting to do something now that her kids were older. And I said, well, have you thought about joining a women's club? And she said, you know, I think I'd like that. And I said, well, do you live here in Stockton? No, I live in Tracy. So I went home. I printed out one of Tracy's membership applications. And the next time we went to the hospital, I looked her up and I gave it to her. So that's what I did.
Great
Thank
job,
you very much,
Kathy.
Kathy. Okay, our next question or comment comes from Terry. Terry?
Yes, it's a question. On the orientations, how long should you wait after a new member has joined the club? Should you do an orientation? And do you normally, would you do a group orientation or is a one-on-one better? I would just like to hear the opinions.
You know, Terry, I would recommend that you not wait a long time, because, and maybe you can remember back the first meeting you were at. If you didn't have a mentor sitting there, I was very fortunate for myself. I had somebody that I sat with and they leaned over. Oh, and by the way, she was a CFWC state president. So she always took the time to share that information. You know, if you get 3 or 4 members in, that's a perfect number to do an orientation. If you get 2 members in, why don't make them wait a long time, and streamline it. If it's a couple of people, hit the high points. Maybe 3 or 4 months down the road, do a informational meeting for anybody that's been there the last 2 years.
Okay.
Because I guarantee you, there will be people that weren't able to get information to begin with. And all of a sudden, you're going to see energized members.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Terry. I'm going to go ahead and lower that hand. Our next question comes from Sandra. Sandra Richardson, you have a question or a comment?
Oh, I can't wait for this one.
Well, she was saying, how do you get members? I was a member for exactly 3 months and they voted me in membership. And I remember saying, well, how hard is it? And they said, oh, it's not hard at all. Oh, let me tell you, my first year, I fell on my butt. I really did. But I ended up doing membership for 4 years and bringing in 26 new members. And what I did was we had a trifold. We had a trifold and I carried him in my purse. I carried him in the trunk of my car. Every once a month, I went to the libraries, and we have 2 libraries in Lakewood. They allowed me to put the women's club trifolds in the libraries. We did it at the Burns Center, the Senior Center, and the Chamber of Commerce. When we went to their meetings, they would say, bring your cards. Well, I would bring my trifolds. So everywhere I went, it was so easy. I just took my trifolds and passed them out. You can do it. I go to an American Legion meeting. We have 11 women in the Lakewood Club that are from the American Legion or belong to the American Legion. You can go concerts in the park. I'm listening to the music, I'm dancing, and I'm passing out my flyers. There's line dancing classes. I take line dancing classes. I got 2 from line dancing. So like I said, there's all kinds of car shows. We had a fireworks booth and we had a sign-up sheet because people came up to buy their fireworks in the women's club. And we had a little sign up if you're interested. And so we would go home with 6 or 7 names. Just carry it with you wherever you go. It's so easy because I can talk to anybody. So as soon as I find out Lakewood, oh, you're from Lakewood? Oh, do you know about the Lakewood Women's Club? So just anything and everywhere. I mean, I love the trifold. It worked for me. And I'm just like saying, go and visit your club libraries and senior center. They allow us to put them in the senior center. So every month you just go deposit them, they take them and you get new stuff. So it sounds like a really hard job. It isn't. Just take them wherever you go. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Sandra.
All right, our next question or comment comes from Marilyn. Marilyn,
Hi. It's not a question, but I wanted to talk to you about membership and what we do and what I do. First of all, my license plate frame on my car says GFWC, CFWC, and SGVD, and down below it says Diamond Bar Women's Club. I publicize it all the time. I have something that I call Membership Monday, where I make sure I have my district badge on and Barbara's pen, her new, the 3Bs and everything on. And I'm out there in public. And if they look over at me, I see that, they like, oh, what's your name? And I go, oh, I'm from the General Federation of Women's Club. And we get to talking, and I find out things like, I'm Diamond Bar. I go, I'd love for you to join my club, but what city do you live in? They'll go, Azusa. I go, I know exactly who the president is of Azusa. If you give me your number, I'll have her call you. And I mean, you kind of get things moving and going. And I love it. And it's a sharing, yes. And I have done every membership, new membership meeting that we've had for the Diamond Bar Women's Club. And it's something that I do because I joined the Federation 4 years ago this month. And 2 weeks later, I was at my first district meeting, and I was told that was unheard of. And I've been going strong ever since. I don't miss a meeting. I don't miss any activity that we do in San Gabriel Valley District. And I tell the new members their importance, that they are the most important component of our federation. They are member, and that is what drives us, is membership. And it's all about you. And we try and make the new people feel so welcome. And then tap into what they want to do in the federation, at our club and elsewhere. So I think it's just very important that we are out there being in the public and making sure that we are showing off. Let's start doing some bragging, ladies. Make sure we're showing off our badges and where we come from and how great it is. Thank you.
thank you, Marilyn. Our next chair or question is from our president, Barbara Briley Beard. Barbara?
Not a question, but for many years of Federation, I would like to ask Rita Alleman if she would please unmute herself. And she has probably the best elevator speech I've ever heard. And I'd like her to give it to you right now in less than a minute. Rita, you're on.
Wow. Yeah, okay. So you get into the elevator. You get into the elevator and there's, let's say there's two women standing next to you. One of the best things you can do is to say, I couldn't help but notice, what a beautiful scarf. Where did you get that? Oh, the woman might answer, it was given to me, it was a gift, whatever. And then you can say something like, have I ever seen you at one of our women's club meetings? And they say, no, I don't belong to a women's club. Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? I happen to have my brochure, my handy dandy brochure for my club. You pull that brochure. It's not just important to pull it out and give it to them. One of the things, part of that 30-second thing that you do, or 1 minute you've got, is to get them to give you their name and their number. Repeat their name. Thank you, Barbara, so much for giving me the opportunity to give this to you. Now, which is best for you? That I call you, or would you prefer an email? You gave them a choice. So which is it? And they'll probably say, you can email me. Great, because I have newsletters I can send you. I have so much information. And listen, when you do finally come to one of our meetings, please look for me. Let me know you're coming, and I'll introduce you to our membership chairman. Boom. That's it.
I have to interrupt only because I listened to Rita's eggplant speech, and I have used it any number of times in the market.
Well, that's if you're in the market and you see somebody and I just got an eggplant, and you can pretend you do not know what to do with an eggplant. So you walk up, there she is in the market, she's looking at the eggplant, and you can say, excuse me, how do you cook your eggplant? Because my husband's been wanting an eggplant and I don't know how to cook an eggplant. And they'll start telling you, well, I boil it, I do this, and that. I go, gosh, this would be wonderful for something for me to take to my women's club. Do you belong to a women's club? put it out there. Just ask them, are you from this area? Where are you from? And it's kind of like Marilyn Marie said, know your area, know what you're doing. If you don't, and the biggest thing is practice, practice, practice. Because you're never going to be told no if you're not asking them to join. So practice being able to say, I love your scarf, or Wendy, what a beautiful blue. You know, you get them to be happy, and that's my pitch. I have so many elevator speeches that when I get in an elevator, my husband nudges me and say, "You didn't hit on that woman." I didn't have my brochure. Yeah.
Thank
So
you, Rita.
thank you, Barbara. Thank you so much.
Thank
I'm
you.
BJ. Thank you.
All right, our next question or comment comes from Colleen Jansen. Colleen?
Hi, I'm currently the first vice president of Orange District, but for the last 2 years, I was the membership chair, the second VP. One of the things I created for all of our members was something called the A to Z target list. And it lists 26 different categories of people that are potential members of your club. So for example, an accountant, and it would say why it's important to get an accountant in your club, or F is a florist, or R might be a realtor. So what it does is it jogs people's mind to think of people, not just in general, who's a person randomly out there in the world that you can recruit, but who's a specific person we can look for. And what I think is important to remember is it's not just what they're going to bring to your club, but what are you going to do in turn for them? What's going to help them? I don't know, Sonia, am I able to share a copy of that list? Am I able to do a share screen?
I think what you could do is go ahead and send it for the worksheets after the workshop,
Okay,
and we'd be
no
happy
problem.
to include that.
All right, I'm happy to share that, but it gives people a specific where they might look at that list and say, oh, I know somebody who meets that criteria. Let me contact them. So it's just to help give them a more specific list to draw from. And I've seen great success with it. I'm more than willing to share it if anybody wants it.
Thank you, Colleen. I appreciate that. And what a clever way of thinking about new people to invite. I'm wondering what the Q is. Does anyone else wonder what Q is? Colleen?
Let me look really quick. I don't remember off the top of my head. Hold on.
I'm trying to think too.
I'm like,
let's see,
a queen of everything.
Q is a quilter because they're a great project person.
Quilter. Very nice, Colleen.
They're a great project person to get projects going. And we even have Z as a Zoom expert. So there's every letter of the alphabet has something.
Thank you so much, Colleen. What a clever way of thinking about it. Nice. Okay, so our next question or comment is from Kathy Holm. Kathy?
Hello, good afternoon. One of the things that Women's Club of Rialto does, because somebody else was asking about when to do an orientation. When we do our membership luncheon, well, of course, we're supposed to invite as many new people, maybe using Colleen's list now. And they come to the membership luncheon, and we have already planned maybe like 30 minutes of time or less, 20 to 30 minutes, where 3 different people, somebody talks about the club, somebody talks about the district, somebody talks about the state, this California Federation, and somebody talks about General Federation. So all of the people get a review, because some people may have missed their first membership luncheon, and the new members get a review of the basics, and then there's the time for questions. So that's been really good because you have a captive audience, and it's worked pretty well because you have everybody there. And then there's a program later after lunch. That's usually before lunch while we have them all there. And then, so that's worked out pretty well for Women's Club of Rialto. So anyway, that's what I wanted to share. Thank you, Colleen. I can't wait to get your copy of your list. You know, Rotary, I also belong to Rotary, and they call those vocations, and they kind of try to do that too. Get somebody from all these different vocations. It's a great idea. I love it.
Thank you, Kathy. Our next question or comment comes from Mary Rose. Mary Rose? Mary Rose Ortega, would you like, there she is.
I'm unmuted. Okay, so I'm the membership chair for the Pio Pico Women's Club in the San Gabriel Valley. And last week we sponsored a membership booth at a local farmers market that was sponsored by the city. They gave us a booth and we sat there, and there was music in the background. They hired a band that was called the Wise Guys. I don't know if you've ever heard them, but they play music from more like the 60s, swing music. So they were very entertaining. But what we did is we passed out an informational sheet on our club. We had a spinner, and we had people come and spin, and we gave gifts out. We gave a small activity book and small crayons to the children of the people, and also we gave them a small tablet, the little wire one that you get. And so 5 of the officers were there, and we talked about our club, and we also invited them to our open house next month. Well, it's this month, in a couple of weeks, and asked them to come and check out our club. We gave out some membership forms of people who, a lot of people didn't know we existed. They've seen our building because we're next door to the seniors club. So we invited them, and hopefully some of them will come, because many of them seemed interested in coming. And that was just one of the things we did, but it was lots of fun. We even got the shade. It was hot, but we had the shade. So that was one of the things we've done in the past, and we did it again this year. And I think it was pretty successful. We gave out a lot of crayons and activity books. So that was just one idea that we did.
Well, thank you. We really appreciate that suggestion. That gave us a lot of suggestions in one way to do an event. And I love the idea of giving the children the crayons and reaching those young moms too. So I'm going to go ahead and lower your hand. Thank you so much for sharing. We're right about at 5:02. I'm going to go ahead and put us back on gallery. And this is where you can actually, I'm going to stop the recording. So let me do all of that.